Hey everybody, this is me, Undead Viking, and this is Word Domination. No, there's no L in there. That's a play on words. Alright, so Word Domination is a game that is a spelling game. You're going to be spelling words, and you're going to be using those words to take artifacts, or take tiles, basically. And each person is going to take a turn placing cubes on tiles on a board, and then the other person is going to go and they're going to try to combat that person by placing cubes in the same tiles. And if you manage to put a cube on a tile twice in a row without being interrupted, then you are able to claim that cube, and of course you can get points and what have you. And then of course then you will attain Word Domination. Alright, that's horrible, I apologize. But let me show you how to play the game, and we'll come back here and I'll tell you more about why I'm digging this one. Alright, cool. This is Word Domination, and I've gone ahead and set up the game for a 3-player game. This is the grid that you'll begin with. Now, a lot of times you'll want to play games like when you have these little tiles, you want to push them together or what have you. You're going to be like taking tiles out and replacing them in this game, so it's always nice to have a little gap. Just a little tip if I can give one to you. So, alright, so you might notice there's a bunch of letters out here. As I said, this is a word game. Each one of these letters in the dark blue represent like an artifact or something that's very important to society and the world. So the U for U.S. Constitution, or the L for London Bridge, or E for Everest, or Mount Everest, as you probably guess, B for Big Ben, that sort of thing. Those are all these like structures, artifacts, what have you, that each of the evil geniuses want to claim as their own. And then when they claim them as their own, they get to use those letters. I'll explain that in just a little bit. Now, you notice these little light blue tiles, those aren't artifacts, those are technology gizmos or whatever that allow you to break the rules. If you are able to claim those, not only do you get to claim portions of the board and be able to, like the area control part of this game that I talked about, you also then get a special power that you're able to invoke for the rest of the game. So you always want to try to get those if you possibly can. Alright, so each player is going to get one of these secret mastermind people. They're all, you know, evil in their own right and wonderfully cartoony, if you will. None of them have like special powers or anything like that. They're all pretty much the same. So let's just take this perplexingly beautiful but evil woman here. We'll play her as our evil mastermind, if we will. And then each person gets one tile to start the game. So I'll just grab one tile at the top. We got E, and that stands for the Easter Island statues. So there we have that. So let's just say I begin with this turn, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play E. Now my goal here is I'm going to be trying to spell a word using at least this letter. I have to use the E. I also have to place this particular tile somewhere on the edge of the board, basically putting it out there that people would be able to use it for their own words, possibly when it's their turn. So we'll just go ahead and we'll place this E here. And I'm going to spell the word Jupiter, because I want this J. Now, as you might have guessed, the letters don't have to be next to each other. So let's just say, this is a 3-player game, so let's just go ahead and get rid of these. But let's say I'm green, and I'm going to take these cubes, and I'm going to place them on the J, this U, and mind you, having tiles that you control at the end of the game next to each other is important. So if you can find tiles that have the letters that you need that are next to each other, that is a very important part of it. So J and then a U, and let's go ahead with this P, because it's going to be next to that I that I'm going to use. So J-U-P, I, T, E, and R. So I've gone ahead and placed cubes on those, signifying that I am now like trying to steal these particular special artifacts or locations or whatever. And it's up to the other mad geniuses to pull off their attempt themselves. Now, I didn't claim anything at this point because of the fact that you have to be able to place a cube on a tile that you already have a cube on in order to claim it. So I can't do that right now. But let's just say the next player, I do get to play a tile, put a tile on there. So I got another E. Okay, so I got another tile. So now the next person goes, and let's see what they have. Okay, they have a C. So I'm just going to kind of look here, and of course, think of my feet here. Well, let's go ahead and place it maybe there, because we want to kind of maybe gum up the works for the other players, so they can't maybe connect these together. That's a very good thing to do, because you don't want them to gain extra bonus points for having locations next to each other. And let's spell the word computer. So we're going to go C, and I'm going to be looking for anything that I can get that's close, as I said, and also word letters that I can use that are going to be a letter that the other person has used. So C, and let's go with O, and I have an M up there, so let's go with M. But now let's go ahead and place this on there, so P, so we're going to knock that one off, and then we're going to look for a U. And do I have a U? So this is kind of like, we're going to go ahead and knock that one off as well. Green's probably not very happy with me right now. And let's go with a T. And once again, probably not happy with me right now. And then we can also go E, like that. And R. And most likely, like I said, Green is probably not very pleased with the choice of the letter that the second player took, because they were able to get rid of a lot of the same letters that they used. So, all right, and so now the third person will go, and they got an I. So now they have to do the same thing. And remember, if the other player here is able to come up with another word that can have J or I on their turn, they are going to go ahead and be able to claim these two tiles if they can come up with a word with this I there. So, I'm sorry, that E there. So let's just hold on. Let's look at a second here, and maybe they're going to go a different route, and they're going to go maybe place the I here, and they want that Q. They want that, so they're going to go quiet. Q, and they're going to go U, knock that one off, and then the I that we've already placed, and then perhaps this E, get rid of that, and then, oops, and the T, and get rid of that as well. So they're gunning for the possibility of being able to take that special quantum armor. And I'll go through the special abilities of the armor or what have you. Now, I should have mentioned that you can't use the same letter more than once in a word. Stands to reason. Basically, that prevents you from being able to place two down, at the same time, and not only like put the cube down, but put the second cube down and then claim it. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the board. Oh, I should mention that you might be wondering why this die is there. The game lasts 6 rounds. So after you've done a round, you go ahead and lower this down to a round. So now we are at 5 rounds left before we do the scoring. All right, so now, as I said, I'm trying to come up with a word. Now, if I'm in a situation where I can't come up with a word, I'm thinking about it, I'm looking at it, I'm trying to figure out something I want to do with this, and another player sees a word that they can see. They can look at my tile, they see what I have, and they're looking and they're like, I totally have a word for you. They can tell you at that point, hey, I have a word for you that you can use in this situation. Would you like to hear? And you say, okay, and then they have to tell you these 3 things. They have to tell you how many letters it is. They have to tell you how many letters you'll be able to steal, meaning actually claim by using the word that they're suggesting, and a price that they want for that particular letter to be done. Basically what they're saying is that if I give you this letter, or this word, it's going to be X number of letters. You're going to be able to claim this letter, and for it, I want maybe this letter, or that letter, or multiple letters. So I could say, let's say Blue says to the other player, I've got a word for you. It is 6 letters long. You'll be able to claim the J, and for it, I want to be able to put a cube on R, meaning that they'd be able to take it. Now, if they don't have a cube, they just put a cube on it, but, you know, same difference. So they could be able to take it. If the player says, if I, as the green player, say, all right, give me the word, I have to spell the word that they give me. Now, if the other person, the other player could say, whoa, before you take that, I have a word that is 8 letters long, and you'll be able to claim this and claim that, and then you can decide whether or not you want to take either of their offers. If everybody else everybody at the table gives you an offer, and you choose not to take them, then somebody can give you a timer, and they basically say you got 60 seconds to come up with a word, or you have to skip your turn. If you skip your turn, then you don't get to play, obviously. And if you want, you're able to discard your letter, and then you're able to draw a new one if you want. But let's say I took the offer from blue, and they said the word is jester. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I see that? So I can go ahead, and I can take this, and I can go ahead, and they said they want this R, and I'm going to be able to claim this J. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put the E down here, and I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to go J, E, S, T, E, and then instead of me putting that one on R, blue will get to put one on R. So, in this case now, I'm going to knock off these two red, like so. I'm going to be able to claim this J, and I'm going to put that in front of me, and then what you do is you take a tile and put it face down on that spot and leave one cube on it to show that you've claimed that. And then blue is going to do the exact same thing, where they're going to take the R, because they can use this R all the time now in front of them, and I can use this J all the time in front of them, but nobody else can, and they place a cube like that. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game of word domination is played. So, you might be asking, okay, so what are these little special tiles, if you will? So, the special tiles have the following special abilities, and I'll just go ahead and show you the back of this cool little player sheet here. Like that J, the Jinx Cannon, you can use the same letter tile twice, both canvassing it, basically putting a cube on it, and stealing it all in the same turn, so you can go ahead and place it twice. That Quantum Armor, you can place 2 tokens on a letter you use this turn. Your opponent must use that letter twice before you are displaced. And so you can see there, Force Reactor, place an unclaimed letter with a random one from the box, or replace, sorry. Krypton, give a random letter to an opponent. They must place and use 2 letters at the start of the next turn. Vapor Shock Rocket, vaporize an opponent's token from an unclaimed letter you did not use. Wild Gambit, use a letter as a wild card. Do not place your token on that letter. X-Ray Goggle, placing a token on a letter you did not use during this turn. And then Zeppelin Lift, move a stolen tile to the outer edge of the playing area. So, I mean, all those powers obviously are pretty good, and using them and getting those tiles is a very, very important part of the game. Alright, so if the game goes all 6 rounds, you're done. And at that point, you are going to claim your points on the board. Now, only tiles that have been reversed and placed with the stolen on the other side are going to be worth points. And they're going to be worth 1 point each. If you manage to have tiles next to each other in a group, those are going to be worth 2 points each. So you can see how that adds up. So like if green had all 4 of these, and I'm not going to turn them over right now, but all 4 of those would be worth 2 points each, and they'd be worth 8. Whereas like this would be worth only 1, and this would be only worth 1. And these 3 in blue would be worth 6 if they didn't claim to have the stolen on the other side. Whoever has the most points will obviously win the game of word domination. This is a very fast, very fun game. It's a weird amalgamation of different aspects of games that I never really thought I'd ever play. You know, it's tiles, it's you know, spelling, obviously, you're using words, and also like, you know, area control and things like that, it's a very, very refreshing take on genres that I never thought somebody would make a game in combining them, if you will. So, alright, so there you go. That's word domination. Let me tell you what I think in my final thoughts. Alright, thank you very much for taking the time to learn word domination. As I said, it is a wonderful mix of different genres of games. I mean, everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but most people at some point in their life has played Scrabble at some time. And I still, my dad and my dad's wife, when I'm over at his house, they still bust out Scrabble and play it on a fairly regular basis. And I remember as a kid, like, hating it because of the fact that I can never spell the words. You know, I mean, like it. 2 points, you know, and then other people would like, you know, put, you know, conflagration or something, you know, and I just like, you know, but that being said, yes, word games do kind of lend themselves to a more mature, more adult audience just because you have a higher vocabulary. But I do like the fact that I have a 9-year-old daughter that I've played this game with, and she actually had a great deal of fun. Mostly because of the fact that you aren't forced to put things in a chain. You aren't forced to, like, you know, have to, like, you know, find connections to put things together. You know, it was one of those things also with the added benefit of being able to help one another. You can say, well, you know, like, hey, I'll give you a word, but you got to give me this. You know, it kind of bridges that weird gap where, you know, you are helping your kids, theoretically, if you wanted to get this game for playing with your family. You like, a lot of times you'll play a game when you're introducing designer, these types of board games to kids, like they can be a little bit more complex. And it's one of those things where you kind of help them a little bit, but you don't want to help them. Yeah, if you're catching what I'm saying, you know, but you want them to be able to grasp the game and understand how you're playing and what route you need to take to win. But when this game had a little mechanism inside where it said, you know, hey, I can give you a word right now, but you're going to have to give me that tile if you're going to take my word. Take my word for it. I'm just sorry. But the point is that I like the fact that it had that inside of it, because my daughter and I were able to play this 2-player, and it is a fantastic 2-player game, very quick and fantastic 2-player game. You know, it's part of the game. I didn't feel like I was artificially giving her a better chance or whatever. And then she was actually able to weigh the options pretty well as well. It's like, you know, and then she was able to come back, tell you what, you know, I won't give you that letter, but, you know, maybe if you have a different letter that you can give, you know, and she was able to, like, counter offer and things like that. And also, she really, really loved the ability of, like, being able to suggest a word to me on my turn, you know, and so it's that. I mean, obviously the entire game is a lot of fun. It's neat coming up with words. It's neat coming up with words that are specifically designed to best another person's word, or, you know, do better than they are. And the game itself is just such a quirky, neat little idea that I just fell in love with it. But the added bonus of the fact that it just kind of helped me bridge that weird gap between me and my daughter. And she's quite the gamer. I mean, obviously, I talk about her quite a bit, and she's been on these videos. But I really, really took to this game very quickly because of that added bonus. And if you have a family that likes playing games, and you kind of want to introduce them to the other world of these games, this is a great. I mean, I hate saying gateway game. I don't like that word. I don't think any game technically is a great gateway or isn't a great gateway. But this is something that I can totally see playing with my other extended parts of my family when we get together that aren't already under this roof, if you will. So there you go. That's Word Domination. I love it. I think you're going to love it too. Go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions about it, go ahead and ask away. I'll try and answer those to the best of my ability. And until next time, this is me, the Undead Viking. I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.